Yeah, 4 cells the way to go.
How's it going, everybody? Never Stop the RC. So in this box is a brand new Timber X Maiden Flight Basic. And I'm pretty excited about this because the original Timber was a great flying model if you had that one. Even the UMX Timber is a lot of fun. I still have one of those. And this plane, when they put it out, I knew I had to get one because take the Timber, keep the stall characteristics, but give it more power, make it 4-cell capable, give it bigger ailerons, flaps, elevator, and rudder, so it's now more 3D capable, and that's a must get for sure. So hopefully I'll be doing more reviews, more flight videos on the channel in 2019, but I think this is a good one to start with. And I didn't just get one of these. I've got one here for Ken, and there's also one for Captain Donuts. So we've got 3 of these planes. We're gonna be flying them a lot. You're gonna see a lot of these in upcoming videos. I'm sure Rob's gonna be chasing them around. He's gonna get so confused, he's probably gonna crash. In this video, I'm just gonna get this thing out of the box. We're gonna take a look at it, put it together, and just go over it, and hopefully get outside and fly it. I'm not gonna call it a flight review because I feel like you have to fly a plane a whole bunch of times to call it a review. You can't just fly it once or twice. Look at all these planes. I feel like a hobby shop here or something. They look good. These are all Maiden Flight Basic models. So, you know, as most of you know, that's the airplane with the receiver. No transmitter, no battery, no charger. You can also get it as a plug and play, which means you don't have the receiver in case you want to use your own receiver or a different receiver. You can go that route too. One thing you will notice, there are no floats with this one. So unlike the original Timber, which did come with the floats, you do not get floats with this one. You can use the floats from your old Timber on this one, or you can buy a float set if you want to fly off the water. Now you do also get a set of foam leading edge slats, just like the last Timber. You can attach those if you want to get even slower stall performance. I'm just going to set those aside right now and leave them off, fly with a regular wing. You see there are lights on the fuselage and the wingtips, so you have that. Of course, you have the big Tundra tires, and then you have those massive control surfaces. Clearly you can see the ailerons are bigger, the flaps are bigger, the rudder is massive, so this thing is designed to perform more 3D aerobatics than the last one. So let's go ahead and start putting it together. All right, so there's not too much loose hardware in the kit, so I thought I'd show it just real quick in case you guys had any questions. Up top you have the nylon wing bolts and the joiner bracket, and then you just have 3 sets of loose screws. If Steve's around, you have 4 sets. On the right there you have 4 8mm screws. Those are for attaching the landing gear assembly to the fuselage, that aluminum rotating piece on the fuselage, 4 screws for that. In the middle there you have a couple 10mm screws. Those are for attaching the spring assembly to the fuselage. And then on the left there you have 2 12mm screws. Those are the longer screws for attaching the horizontal stabilizer onto the fuselage. And all those come in separate bags. So it's, you know, simple. You don't have to worry about mixing them up. Now in the instructions you will see 2 6mm screws for joining the spring assembly of the landing gear together. That is already attached to the landing gear. You don't have to go looking around for those screws in that plastic piece. It's already attached to one side of the landing gear. All you have to do is partially disassemble it to connect the spring assembly once you have the landing gear going. So when you look at this rotating piece in the landing gear, you will notice that there is a curved part, and then there's also a flat part. And so you want to attach the landing gear to the flat part. Pretty straightforward. You just take the landing gear, slide it in between the plastic and that rotating piece, and then just put the screws in. So for this little plastic joiner piece for the spring assembly, what I do is I just take out the screw from the one side where the landing gear is not in place, and I just loosen the other screw a little bit so I can slide that wire into the bracket into place, and then I just tighten everything back up again. Don't take the whole thing apart, it's just gonna make it a little bit more difficult. Okay, so that's all assembled. There's the landing gear, flexes and works. So this is a little bit different. I haven't seen this before. On the assembly of the joiner for the horizontal stabilizer, you have 2 options. You have the fiberglass option towards the top, and then on the bottom there you have a metal steel option, which is a heavier joiner. So they recommend using the fiberglass one if you're going to do normal flying, if you want the CG a little more forward, and use the heavier steel one if you're going to do aggressive 3D flying, and it's going to push the CG back a little bit as well. So I'm going to put that steel one in there because I don't want my tail coming apart, but I do recommend at least using one of those, because if you don't put a joiner in there, you're going to have some problems. After you put the joiner in, just slide those 2 elevator horizontal stabilizer halves together. Elevators join with that plastic piece, and then you have the 2 screws to finish the assembly. Then all you have to do is connect the control rod to the control horn. Of course, this plane does have AS3X, and it also has Safe Select as an option, so you can fly it with Safe. All right, the airplane is bound. I went ahead and connected all the spaghetti for the wing, which is very easy because everything is nicely labeled. Even Steve can do it. Now I just need to get that wing attached, put the prop on, and I think that will be about it. And don't forget, before you attach that wing, take the bind plug out of the receiver. So let's go ahead and talk about what is inside the airplane. Up front, we have a Power 10 brushless motor, 900 kV, spinning a 13x4 inch prop. We have a 50 amp ESC, so we're good for 3 or 4 cell batteries, and the recommended size is 2200 milliamp hours. We have 9-gram Metal Gear servos all around, and for receiver, Spectrum AR636A 6-channel sport receiver. So that's everything that's in the airplane. Like I mentioned, this is a Maiden Flight Basic, so you have the receiver, you do need your own battery, transmitter, and charger. It's ready to go, so let's go ahead and take it outside and do some flying. All right, I'm ready to fly, and I tried to fly yesterday, but couldn't do it. There was a really nice rainbow. Took some pictures with the plane, and then it immediately started raining, and it didn't stop. So I couldn't fly yesterday, but today it's clear skies. A little bit of a breeze. There's snow over there on Mount Diablo. That's pretty rare. You see that maybe once a year, if at all. So pretty cool. Plane is ready to go. One thing I like, on the wingtips, there's some plastic protecting pieces there. That's good for transporting it, and if you happen to scrape the wing, I guess. You also have, I just want to mention, Y connectors on the flaps and ailerons, but if you wanted, you could connect them all up separately, and you could do some interesting things, like you could do full length aileron like that for some real aggressive 3D flying, I guess. You could also do things like crow braking, where the flaps go down and the ailerons go up. So there's different possibilities. I'm going to be flying this today with 3-cell 2200 packs. I have one 4-cell 1800 pack, and I will fly with that. I have some more 4-cell packs on the way. So this is just going to be first flight. It's not really a flight review because I haven't flown it yet. You need to fly it more times to call it, I think, a flight review. It's set up completely stock as per the manual. So, you know, neutral flaps, then I have 2 sets of flaps, half flaps, full flaps. There is some down elevator mixed with that, but everything is stock. So let's go ahead, get a battery in there, and get it up in the air. So I'm going to take off from the grass here. This is a 3-cell 2200 pack. It's a little tail heavy. So I think that 4-cell pack will be better, a little heavier in the nose. And I'd like a little more power than it has right now. So I'm already thinking 4-cell is the way to go with this guy.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Let's put some flaps down. That's full flaps. Oh man, it just stops. It is stopped in the air. Look at that. So I know it's going to be small on the GoPro. It's not too far away, but that's just the way it works with GoPro filming. We'll get some better video with these guys later. But I just want to get some first flights in. You can tell the rudder is going to have a huge amount of authority with this guy. So you'll be able to do flat turns, all that stuff. But it's just a little anemic with this 3-cell. It's still good, but yeah, I can tell it needs a little more power. Full flaps right now. Yeah, I'm pretty much full throttle right now. You can do a little knife edge. It's got a good sound to it.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Huge amount of rudder authority. Huge. Flaps are dropped. All right. Well, that's a good first flight. A good maiden flight is when the plane comes back in one piece. So I'm flying this thing nice and easy. I'm not one of those guys that can pick up any plane and just start flying it like crazy. I will say with the 3-cell, it does feel a little anemic. It flies fine. You can loop from level, but it does feel like it's a little slower than maybe I'd like. I want to do some more aerobatics with it, so I think 4-cell really is the way to go with this. Flaps were fine. No bad tendencies there. With that 3-cell, I think it is a little tail heavy. Ken just showed up. Yeah, yours is in the car.
Oh man.
That's it.
So it's shorter, the wings are shorter compared to the original one.
Yeah, shorter wingspan, then it's got bigger control surfaces.
Yep.
I flew it on 3-cell, and it was a little anemic. Didn't like it as much, so I got a 4-cell in there now.
4-cell now.
1800 pack, so we'll take it up.
What's it called for? 3 or 4?
3 or 4,
Okay.
but my feeling is just gonna fly better with 4, like most things.
Yep.
You know? Yeah, you can put the slats on. I left them off for now.
Okay.
Yeah, 4-cell's the way to go.
Dude, that took off in like a foot.
Yeah, it's a different airplane on 4-cells. It feels better balanced too. I think on 3-cells is a little tail heavy.
This is a 4-cell, how big of a pack?
This is just an 1800 pack, so it's a smaller pack. Yeah, this is better.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
So can they have a fiberglass or a steel spar for the tail? And they recommend if you're going to do 4-cell and do aerobatics to put the steel one in. So I got your plate in the trunk.
Can I just go with carbon fiber instead? Is there a third option?
I guess you could just make yours. There's always another option.
It's like, this reminds me of when I was in school. The answer is D, none of the above.
I make my own spar. Yeah, it's way better on 4-cell. 3-cell just kind of putzing around. You could loop from level, that was about it, but really not much vertical.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
So I'm just doing some first flights, nothing crazy.
You know what this reminds me of? Remember when you had that cracked beaver?
Yeah,
It kind of reminds me of that.
it's kind of like that with a little more power, heavier airplane.
And it has a fuselage.
Yeah, that's right. And it has a full fuselage.
So is that full flaps?
Yeah, that's full flaps right now.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
wind's blowing in our face.
Yep.
So I'm gonna bring it this way. All right, got it back. It's got the same landing gear as the Timber, same setup, so it's not the strongest. So you got to be a little careful landing it. And then the battery loads from the bottom.
Oh,
Those are my only two complaints.
come on, guys. Come on.
I know.
Really?
Loads from the bottom. It's got a little hatch there. You could easily fly it at night, I think. It's got enough lights on it. Strobe lights. It's got the big wheels. First couple flights, yeah, 3-cell. Just skip that, go straight to 4-cell. 2200 packs. And then you can shred at the sky, I think. You can tear up the sky a little bit. But we'll have 3 of these flying pretty soon, right?
Yes, sir.
Because I got yours in the car.
That's right.
So you're gonna put it together. We'll get 3 of these flying, get Rob chasing them. And we'll see more about what it can do, especially with a more capable pilot like you. We'll be doing some rolling circles 2 inches off the ground.
I think that's Steve.
Maybe Steve will do
I
that.
think that Steve would do that.
That's right.
I'm more like scale masters. You know, I'll probably do like, you know, find a puddle of water, touch and goes, and
Oh yeah,
have a skim
that's
off
right.
that. And
You're like the bush plane
I'm the bush plane
guy, so yeah.
Yeah,
We'll do some formation flying.
Yep.
I think that'd be cool.
that's right. And then we're all landed together and have a barbecue next to the, you know, next to the river rocks.
Right,
you
right.
know.
Yep.
That's right. Get some coffee.
Get some coffee and then
back in our plane and
take off.
move on to the next spot.
Head back down the valley.
That's right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun plane. I can definitely tell. I didn't do much aerobatics, but it's a little windy and I don't want to wreck it yet. It's too early.
We still need to FPV it, so.
You could definitely FPV it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's got plenty of power for that. Put some FPV gear on it. Yeah, easily.
That's strange. Is this a decal?
I think it's all just decals, yeah. I mean, you know, or is it, yeah. Some people will say, well, it doesn't have a real cockpit and all that, but that's not the kind of plane this is. This is a plane to fly. It's built to perform, not for the scale detail as much.
It's FY.
I mean, we could put a sticker on it.
Could have been a battery hatch right here. Could have been.
Yeah, this whole thing could
This
just
whole
come
thing
off.
could have been just,
Exactly.
You know, I mean, come on, guys.
Power 10 motor, 50 amp ESC. My wheel's wet. See, it's already all muddy and wet. That's good. That's what we need.
That's what we need.
Need more mud on it.
Bush plane.
Oh yeah. Oh, I got mud on the wingtip. Awesome. AS3X and safe. E-flite model. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. See you, Ken.
Cool. Next time.
Get your plane out of the car.
That's right.
Put it together.
That's right.
Steve's is already together, so we'll get him going. All right, see you guys next time.